Hey everyone, Gavin back from thrivewp.com. Today we're going to be looking at this wonderful WordPress error that puts everybody on the edge of their seat and causes a lot of stress, to say the least, and that is the establishing a database connection error. This will pop up on people's sites from time to time. You have no idea quite often why. It just suddenly pops up and you just freak straight away because it's your site and you start spiraling with thought, thinking, oh, that's my site gone, I've just done a load of work, I've just written lots of articles, I've lost it all, what's happened, what am I going to do? But don't panic, just stop, think rationally, and watch this video and we'll help you fix it. It's not actually that hard most of the time. Quite often, it might be that this happens on your site, and quite often it's down to a couple of things usually. So it's either down to something like the WordPress username or the database username or password. It might be that the host name is not quite correct, or it might actually be that the database server is having a bit of a problem at that current time. So the main culprit most of the time is usually around your credentials for the database, the username, the password, things like that. So that is the first place to look. So before you start freaking out, you want to have a look at that, and you can do that by accessing the WP config file. And there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can do it through your cPanel and file manager, or you can do it through an FTP file transfer protocol program if you're kind of up on how to do that. You can do that either way, it doesn't really matter. So we'll show you in cPanel first. So essentially what you do is you go into File Manager, okay, you would go to the root directory of where your site files are, and you would find the WP config file, okay. So you would edit that, edit, okay, and then what you need to do is you need to double check your database name. Okay, so that's everything in between the quotation marks. So your database name, database username, and your password. And then of course your host as well. So usually it is just localhost for the majority of hosts, but you might want to double check that. That said, if your site was working fine before, it's less likely to be this. It's more likely to be username or password. So once you've checked, you may have spotted an issue like ours in this example. So we'll fix our password, we'll click save, we'll go back to our website and we'll refresh, and as if by magic it's fixed. The panic is over. Everything is still in place as it should be. This is just a demo site, so it's nothing exciting, but that is kind of the example for checking your username and passwords first. And again, you can do it through an FTP client. You'd find your file, you would edit that, okay. You would then make sure that all your credentials are right, you would save it, and then you would upload it back to the server. All right, so that is the main culprit most of the time. All right, but there are other things you can do, okay. And one of those things is repairing the database. So sometimes your database might become corrupted for some reason. So what you want to do is at the bottom of your WP config file is add this line of code, and we'll have this on our website. We'll link to the blog post in our video description. Okay, add that to the bottom of your WP config file, click save, okay, and then what you need to do, all right, is you want to then go to your site URL. Okay, so it would be admin maint repair. Okay, so it's this. So basically you'll just be replacing this to your URL. All right, and then you've got two options then. You've got repair database or repair and optimize. And for this specific issue, I would say just do repair database for now. Because that's your main concern, is getting the database fixed and getting it back up and running. So you just click Repair Database. WordPress will then do a quick repair through your database to make sure everything's working as it should. It says repairs complete. Please remove the following line from the WP config file. Now it's really important that once you've done it, you've removed that, because that page is accessible to anybody. So this page is accessible to anybody. So what you want to do is ensure that once you've run the repair, you delete that line of code, you save, and you upload back to your site, so that then that URL is no longer accessible. Okay. So there we go. All right, so that's how you would kind of fix that error, whether that be your, the user credentials for the database, whether it be a corrupted database. The other things that can happen from time to time is that the database is just overloaded. So it might be that your site has had a spike in traffic, which is a good problem to have, but the knock-on effect is that your database might not be able to handle that spike in traffic, which has crashed the database server. That's not a problem. You just need to wait a few minutes, and usually it will kick back to life. If you're getting to a point where you're maybe outgrowing your host and you're hitting that error quite often, then you might need to start thinking about upgrading your hosting so that you're not, maxing out your database server all the time. The other option, the other thing that might happen is that the database server itself has a malfunction, or has an issue itself, and that's the time where you want to start reaching out to your hosting provider really for them to start investigating it further. So hopefully, with this video and our blog post, you should be able to, troubleshoot this problem and hopefully fix it as quick as possible. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it if you can, give us a comment. We try to make videos that are going to be helpful for, anybody, whether they're a beginner or not with WordPress. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. So thanks for watching. Catch you soon.